May 6, 1937. A giant airship, the Hindenburg, hovers over the airfield in Lakehurst, the pinnacle of technological advancement of its era, a symbol of German aviation. The passengers calmly await landing, unaware that in just a few moments, this scene will change forever. A flash. Flames engulf the airship in a matter of seconds. Panic, screams, desperate attempts to escape. The instant destruction of the largest flying machine in history marked the end of an entire era. But to understand how humanity arrived at this moment, we need to go back to the very beginning of airship development.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Your support helps the channel grow and motivates me to create even more amazing videos for you.
The idea of a controllable aerostat emerged back in the 18th century when the Montgolfier brothers launched the first hot air balloons. But hot air balloons were uncontrollable, and scientists began searching for ways to create a flying machine that could be directed where needed. The first airships capable of this appeared in the 19th century. They used a gas lighter than air, usually hydrogen, and were equipped with steam or gasoline engines. However, due to their weak construction and unreliable engines, they could not compete with other types of transport. A real breakthrough in the development of airships occurred at the beginning of the 20th century thanks to the German Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin. Ferdinand Adolf Heinrich August Graf von Zeppelin was born on July 8, 1838, in the city of Constance, Germany, into a noble aristocratic family with long-standing military traditions. His youth was spent at the military academy, and later he joined the army of Württemberg. His career promised to be brilliant, but Zeppelin's true interest lay not only in military affairs. During the Civil War in the United States in 1863, he was there as a military observer and saw for the first time how balloons were used for reconnaissance. This discovery fascinated him so much that, upon returning to Europe, he began to study the possibilities of creating a more advanced flying apparatus. However, war once again drew him into combat. He took part in the Austro-Prussian War of 1866 and later in the Franco-Prussian War of 1870–71. For his merits, he was awarded the rank of lieutenant general, but in 1890 he was forced to retire due to conflicts with the leadership. Having lost his military career, he fully immersed himself in developing his own airship project. In 1900, he built the first rigid airship, the LZ-1, which took to the skies on July 2nd of that same year. Despite technical shortcomings, it was a true breakthrough. The main feature of this design was the metal framework, which maintained the shape of the craft even if gas was lost. Unlike previous models, the new airship was much more stable, could carry passengers, and travel long distances. His airships quickly gained popularity and became the first commercially successful aircraft. In 1910, Zeppelin founded the company Deutsche Luftschifffahrts AG, the world's first commercial airline. It operated regular passenger flights across Germany and other European countries, and by 1914, its airships had completed over 1,500 flights, carrying about 35,000 passengers without a single fatality. With the outbreak of the First World War, airships took on a new role, a military one. Germany actively used Zeppelins for reconnaissance, patrolling maritime areas, and even for bombing missions. Airships could ascend to altitudes of over 3,000 meters, making them unreachable for most fighter planes of that era. German air raids on London and Paris during the First World War became some of the first strategic bombings in history. They caused panic among the civilian population, as these flying giants dropped explosives directly onto residential areas. Despite their effectiveness in the early years of the war, Zeppelins had critical shortcomings. They were extremely vulnerable to anti-aircraft artillery and the new high-speed fighter planes. By 1918, the British military had learned to shoot them down using incendiary bullets, which pierced the airship's envelope and ignited the hydrogen. This led to catastrophic explosions in the air. Eventually, the Germans were forced to reduce the use of airships in military operations, focusing instead on the development of airplanes. Ferdinand von Zeppelin did not live to see the heyday of his creation. He died on March 8, 1917, at the age of 78, without seeing his airships being used for transatlantic flights. But his ideas outlived him. After the war, interest in airships did not fade. On the contrary, a new era of their development began, particularly for transatlantic transportation. In 1924, the American airship ZR-3 Los Angeles, built in Germany, made the first non-stop flight across the Atlantic Ocean. And in 1928, the Zeppelin company created the LZ-127 Graf Zeppelin, which became the most successful airship of its time. It operated consistent and scheduled commercial flights between Europe and America, and also completed a monumental journey entirely around the globe in 1929, successfully demonstrating to the world that these massive airships could effectively compete with ocean liners, in terms of both travel speed and luxurious passenger comfort. Thus, airships evolved from experimental designs into a fully fledged mode of transportation, capable of carrying hundreds of people and cargo over long distances. But their fate remained threatened due to safety issues, which became especially apparent during the Hindenburg tragedy in 1937. Leave a like, comment, and share it with your friends.